Greetings to everyone. My name is Crescent, and today I bring to you my regional topping Numeron deck for the Indianapolis Regional on June 2023. I love Numerons. Ever since I started playing them out over in Master Duel back in October, I believe, and I just got so into the deck, finding out all the intricacies and complexity that there is, and I promise there is some. Now, I've been playing the deck ever since a Master Duel, and I've been bringing it over to the TCG, finding out how can I make it viable. Everyone always thinks Numerons are just this one-trick deck, but there's so much more to it, and I promise that. So, let me go over a bit on the rounds I actually played. I do want to say that I wasn't supposed to be playing Numerons. I wanted to take Code Talker Firewall over there, but I wasn't practicing all the combos and whatnot, and I just felt that any lingering floodgate like a Drone Lockbird, Dimensional Shifter, or anything of lingering effect would just kill the deck, and I just had a feeling I was going to win, or rather I was going to lose every single die roll, and I just did not want to take that chance. So I took what I was used to, which was the Numeron deck that I had been taking to locals and all this whatnot that I have so much practice in now. So I do want to say that I have been awake for about 20 hours by the times my friends picked me up to take me over there, and I did not sleep until the end of the events, meaning by the end of everything, I was awake for, I believe, 36 hours. I did the math, after the regional was over. The drive was 3.5 hours and back, but it was well worth it, and I had a good night's sleep afterwards, which is why this video is coming out maybe a day late, I want to say, because I've been a little busy with other things. But here it is, the deck profile, and along with the rounds I played. So for round 1, I went ahead and fought against Vanquished Souls. I lost a die roll, and I got 2-0. Game 1, he left his board on just 2 monsters, so I was able to just Kaiju, Ultimate Slayer, Numeron Network OTK afterwards. Game 2, he went ahead and just summoned 2 monsters this time, so I just had the Lava Golem, I had a Lightning Storm, luckily for his Tikaboo, which he had set, and I just went for game the next moment. Round 2 was against Sky Striker. He made me go first, which is strange. I set Twin Twister and passed. I didn't really have anything much to do at that point. He couldn't OTK me. He didn't have linkage or anything of that sort, so I was able to draw my outs and then just OTK him afterwards. Nothing really too fancy about that. Game 2, he makes me go first, and I draw only normal spells, so he OTKs me. I couldn't say anything. And for game 3, my Lightning Storm was able to clear out all his floodgates, and I just OTK'd him at that point. For game 3, I fought against Live Twin Sprites. I would say this would be my first loss. He goes first and activates Anti-Spell. And I thought that was strange. I had the Twin Twister, but he had the Solemn Judgment for my Twin Twister, which was unfortunate. I couldn't beat that. The rest of my hand was all spells, and there was nothing I could really do about that. Game 2, I OTK'd him just to flat out. There was nothing really too fancy about that. In game 3, he goes first. He anti-spells. And once again, this time I didn't have the Twin Twister. I had no response. I was able to block a few turns, but in the end, I couldn't get to anything I really needed. So that was unfortunate. So that was my first round loss, round 3. Round 4, I fought against Branded Bestials, and this game I also unfortunately lost. So game 1, he bricked and didn't summon anything. I was able to just shoot Numeron Network, go into Megaclops, do a lot of damage, and he couldn't out my Megaclops because he's playing Branded Bestials and they're all fusion based, so he didn't really have an out. Game 2, he flipped D-Barrier. Great. Game 3, though, I knew that he was going to be playing D-Barrier again, so I sided 3 copies of Crossout Designator, and my 1 copy, I only owned one copy of D-Barrier myself. The hand opens up, he sets 3 in a very weak board. I draw my hand, it's everything I need to win. I drew the Crossout. He goes, he flips D-Barrier, and I cannot cross out because I drew my 1 copy of D-Barrier. The game drags out, and unfortunately, I do lose that game, and it was so sad because I do not own a second D-Barrier. I will be picking up more at this moment now. Round 5, I fought against Monadium Scareclaw. Game 1, I lost because I could not find any way to Numeron Network. This was the first time. There was just no way to get to it. Game 2, just a flat-out OTK against him. Game 3, he had the Bistio to stop my OTK, but I played my resources well after I failed my attempt to OTK and was able to just win the game with Megaclops and everything else. Round 6, I 2-0'd against Purrley. Now, for Purrley, it's really easy when you have like 6 different kind of kaijus. Game 1, he makes me go first. I pass with nothing. I had like nothing to set, and he can't LTK me because the Purrleys are kind of weak. They're just really resilient. But I was able to lava goal him, and it was just again game at that moment. At game 2, he makes me go first again. I set droplets. And I pass. He then tries to go for Purrley. I decided droplets that. And then he couldn't really do too much, so then I just networked and just got the game at that point. Round 7, I fought against Branded Despia, and I would say this was the most cheese game I had. I 2-0'd him, and game 1, he sets up, but I just lava golem, lightning storm, network. Just everything I needed, and it was clean. Game 2, he makes me go first. All I do is I set droplets. I don't have anything else really viable to do. He elubers right away during the draw phase when I believe through like a branded opening or something of that sort. So I droplets that, believing that if I was going to lose, it was going to be because I lose to fusion. But I looked at my hand afterwards. It was just lava golem, Harpy's feather duster, and Numeron wall. And that's all I needed. Once again, he left the board pretty weak, and with those cards, I cleaned up everything. I finished my round within 10 minutes, and I felt the most proud of that moment. That was like the best match I had. Round 8, I fought against Drytrons. I got 2-1, and this was a really fun match. I believe my opponent's name was Ricky. Ricky, if you're out there, I had a blast. You were so nice. Thank you so much for like all the fun commentary we had. So game 1, I don't see network, so I lose. Game 2, I was able to OTK. The lucky part about this was I droll him, and he goes into the Lyrilusk Nightingale, or one of the Lyrilusks. Standby phase, he does go ahead and use the effect to prevent him from taking any damage for the rest of the turn. Luckily, I had the Sky Striker Widow Anchor to negate that effect, and I was able to just OTK at that point, being able to do damage. Game 3, I was able to have everything in my hand to be able to do the OTK, but he has 2 cards in hand, one of them being Herald of Orange Light and the other being a fairy. I was unable to OTK at that moment, but the game dragged on for a while. I started losing gas real fast, and playing Drytrons, he had all the resources, but he couldn't really out Megaclops until time in a round was called. I did more damage, but it scared me because I wasn't sure who did it. He almost knew right away that time was going to be called. He almost scared me when he said, good game at the moment. So thank you, Ricky. I appreciate the game. It was really fun. I feel like you would have deserved it had it not been for time. And lastly, round 3, I fought against Sprites. It was just Sprites with the Eventer package. I got 2-1. Game 1, he opened D-Shifter. I lose. Numeron Network needs to send calling from deck to graveyard as cost, so I couldn't do that. Game 2, he opened D-Shifter once again, but I was able to block the attack with Numeron Wall in my hand, and then afterwards I was just able to OTK him. But game 3, he makes me go first, and I pass with nothing. He gets a little too overzealous about the situation that I was in, so he just makes a board of like 5 guys, searches Gamma Burst with Elf, and tries to go for game, but unfortunately, he failed to bring out Red and didn't bring out Gigantic and use the effect. So I was able to activate a monster effect and summon, so I blocked it with Wall, which I thought was strange because he knew I had Wall from a previous game. So at that moment, I had everything else in my hand. It was just like Lava Golem, Forbidden Droplets, and the way to get to Network. So I was able to pick up that game, and that's all the 9 rounds. I only lost 2 of them. One of them was unfortunate that I didn't own the second D barrier, and the other one against the Live Twin Sprites, I can't beat Anti-Spell Judgment. So, but those were the rounds. A great time, and now here we go with the deck list. Starting out, we have a lot of categories that we need to do. So first off, we have like Monster Hate. I have 3 Lava Golems. The Lava Golems is just fantastic, being able to just go over every single monster, summoning condition. You can't really respond to it. You could decide to summon it in defense mode if you really want to, if you want to mitigate the damage, or maybe you want to keep it alive if you try to Lightning Storm the monster. It's just one of the fantastic cards and probably the best target that you want to go into with Small World, aside from Wall itself. Next up, I have 2 Godarlas. So the reason why I do 2 Godarlas is because it is a fantastic Small World bridge to and from Lava Golem. If you want to turn Lava Golem into a 1 Kaiju, you can do that with the next card, which would be 2 other Gamma Seals here. So we have a total of 7 cards that are able to do tribute over to your opponent's side of the field. They're all level 8, so they can't small world into each other, which is like the best thing that you want to do with this deck. I don't think there's one card you can't get into with small world. So these cards were fantastic. I wouldn't change them out for the world. Maybe I might cut one of the Gamma Seal down to 1 copy. The reason why I want to do 2 is for a card in the side deck later on for small world purposes. The next card I want to bring out is Pinkertops. I don't recall drawing Pinkertops, but I know Pinkertops is insane for this deck. Being able to special summon itself out, tribute itself as cost, being a small world bridge of being an earth monster and having 0 defense, it's fantastic, and I still would never take this out for the world. Konami, please semi-limit him. I've been waiting for that. It was my New Year's resolution. I really want that. Next up, everyone's going to think I'm crazy, but 2 Archfiend Eccentrics. Now, the best small world bridge you can do would be Ash Blossom, but the issue with Ash Blossom is it doesn't fulfill any of the requirements you need to OTK. For the OTK, you need 3 things. You need back row hate, monster hate, and the way to kill, which is going to be Numeron Network. And because Ash Blossom doesn't really do any of those things, it's such a good small world target, but you would want to do Archfiend Eccentric because it can get from wall to eccentric to lava, or lava go back. Being a light monster, you could also do a lot of other crazy things. It's just also fantastic, and I used this a few times. It was good. It was fine. Being able to normal summon to use the effect, or put in the pendulum scale and use the effect, and if you happen to draw both of them, each effect is once per turn, so you can use both in the same turn, just not the same effect twice. Next up, we have 3 Numeron Walls. With the Numeron Walls, you're able to block an attack, but most importantly, it's one of the easiest ways that you can get to Numeron Wall. It pitches as cost, so unfortunately it can't get called by, but it activates it directly from deck, so you can't get Ash, and that's fantastic. And this card is also the main target you want to get to with Small World. It's either Lava Golem or Numeron Wall. Those are the 2 things you're most likely going to be small worlding into, and you're always going to want to play 3 of these. After that, I decided to play 3 Drone Lockbirds. I don't like Ash Blossom for the fact that I feel like it only stops one thing, and sure, that can be great, but I really want something to let my opponent go off just a little bit, because if they leave the field without any monsters on their side of the field, you cannot OTK. So you want to give them a little bit, and I feel like Drone Lockbird does just that, where it gives them a little bit of leeway to put up something, and just being a floodgate that stops a lot of the searching in this format. You yourself, you don't really search, maybe like once, so if they draw you, it's fine, but this card has been fantastic. It helped me in so many games against the Drytron, against the branded stuff. This card is fantastic, and I would not change this for the world. And Droll, I love you. You're my mascot, and I will continue to get more art of Droll because Droll is fantastic. All right, and that's going to be it for monsters. So again, it's going to be 3 Lava Golems, 2 Godarlas, 2 Kaijus of Gamma Seal, 1 Pinkertops until we get more, 2 Archfiend Eccentrics, 3 Wall, and 3 Droll and Lockbird. Now we're going to get into spells, and we're going to start off with one of my favorite spell cards right now this format, 3 Secret Rare Ultimate Slayers. Ultimate Slayers can target a monster they control from the extra deck, send 1 card from your extra deck to the graveyard, and return that monster to the hand. It cannot be responded to, and what a lot of people do not know, this card is not once per turn at all. There is no restriction on it. It doesn't matter if you draw 2 or 3. You can use them all, and it's fantastic. This is my favorite card, and hopefully one day I want to try to get the giant card that I missed out on the 250th Los Angeles. If anyone has that, I want it. Moving forward, we have 2 Lightning Storm. I'm so sad I went to 2 from the ban list, but I suppose we can make do. It's just an equalizer, being able to decide to destroy spells and trap cards, which is going to be primarily your main reason because you have so much monster hate, but you can theoretically use it for monster hate. Again, I mentioned earlier, you can switch the Lava Golem to, or special summon the Lava Golem in attack or defense, so you can keep a monster on the field while still Lightning Storm the rest, but that rarely comes up. Then we have the 1 Secret Rare Yugi's World Harpy's Feather Duster because it is the best. These are also secret rare things to note. Then we have the 1 secret rare Terraforming. Make sure it's secret. It plays faster than the others. And this is just to search your Numeron Wall or your Numeron Network. In this deck, you should have 10 ways to get to Numeron Wall or Network. It's going to be 3 networks, 3 walls, terraforming, and 3 of the next card, which is fantastic, is going to be Small World. Small World is the main reason why this deck can work, because there is not one synergy you cannot get into. Again, Lava Golem is going to be your main pick, so you can do for like Godarla into Lava into Wall for both being Fiend and these being level 8, more level 8. This can go the Pankratops, you can do the level 0 attack, so you can go to Pank into Wall into like just about everything else. Eccentric being a Fiend, you could also do anything with that. The Wall itself, even the Droll being a Droll with 0 defense, going to the Pankratops into Wall, it's fantastic. You can also go Droll into Godarla being a Wind into the Lava Golem, and there's just no card you cannot get into with Small World, and Small World is just fantastic. I love it so much. And also, once again, make sure they're secret rare. It's very important. After that, we have 3 secret rare Forbidden Droplets. Forbidden Droplets is also a fantastic card, turning any dead copy of card in your hand, let's just say like an extra Numeron network, into something that can be used. If your opponent Ibly locks you or anything of that sort, gives you something, you can remove it from your side of the field as cost, and it's just being not able to respond to this and having their attack also makes it a lot easier to be able to actually go for the OTK. I would not change this out for anything. Then for more back row hate, we have 3 secret rare Twin Twisters. I like the discard. This discard's nice, being able to deal with 2 back row. And even if it is something chainable, I do want to make sure I get it out, whatever it is. Let them, I don't know, maybe it's like a Branded in red. Force them to use it out. Bring out another monster, because I'm going to kaiju over anything they bring out. So this is just fantastic. If you want to play Cosmic Cyclones, you probably can. But again, I like this for being able to deal with 2. And the discards can sometimes be nice. Next up, you play the secret rare Triple Tactic Thrust. Unfortunately, I never had a chance to have this in hand and resolve it. It has come up before outside of the regionals, but it's just fantastic. Being able to search out anything you want, whether it be like the Ultimate Slayer, Lightning Storms, Harpy Feather Duster, or even just terraforming to get into Numeron Network itself. This card would be great. I don't think 3 is too much. I might actually bump this down to 1 for the fact that I do not want to draw 2. It makes like Forbidden Droplets that much more important if you happen to draw 2. Next up, you have the actual 3 Numeron Networks, the important card of the deck. You send Numeron Calling, which is the next card, the 1 Garnet, from your deck to the graveyard to be able to special summon the 4 Numeron Gates and be able to OTK. And this is everything you need. Opening up one of these is like the most important thing you can do. So this was the first time I wanted to try out this new engine. It didn't perform too well, but I did end up doing the Sky Striker engine. So I played 2 Engage. I'm sorry, I ordered the secrets, but they did not come in on time, so I had to pick up these Ultras. I do not like myself for it. It's probably why the deck did so bad, because they're Ultras. So 2 Engage. I did 1 Afterburner, which is secret, and then the 1 secret Jamming Waves to be able to deal with back row or monster hate. The dream is, if you happen to go the +1 with Engage, is very nice. It's just, it would be nice, but unfortunately, I just never really utilize this, aside from like the Widow Anchor, which is going to be in the side later on. So it's a little sad. I do not like this engine as much. It's still fine being able to rely on the Sky Striker stuff, but it's just not my jam. And that covers it for spells. These are the spells. Just again, want to point out, secret, 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 and secret, and secret, secret. Very, very important. So the extra deck. Very, very important. Okay, so we have, for the Sky Striker engine, we have the Kagari, Shizuku, Hayate, and Zeke. So I was supposed to main deck Hornet Drone, but I decided to put it in my side deck for the last moment. So what you could have done is, if they made you go first and you bring in the Sky Striker engine, you could Hornet Drone, bring out Token Kagari, add back Hornet Drone, use it. You can go into Zeke afterwards at that moment. Zeke can banish itself temporarily as cost, leaving your board open to be able to OTK, and maybe they had like Ash Blossomed you early on, or from Engage, or maybe try to like do something to bait things out. So that was the idea. In practice, I don't think I ever did go into it, so it was a little unfortunate for all these cards. I have a lot more decks, variants of Numerons in my disposal. This was just a test of maybe like my fifth variant. I already have something cooking up, but we'll talk about that later on. So more importantly than the actual Sky Striker stuff, you're going to want to play absolutely the actual 4 Numeron gates. 1, 2, 3, 4. I play 1 pair because I also play 1 Numeron calling. A lot of people play 2. I don't like that. It's just a garnet. You want to avoid it. And you play these for the actual OTK. If you're needing to go into Numeron calling twice, you probably already lost the game. What you can go into if you fail to do the OTK, there are 2 good options. You have Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops and Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax. Both these cards are fantastic. If I know what I'm finding up against, if it's going to be against like Branded or just anything really relevant, it's most likely going to be Megaclops because maybe they have like Ghost Ogred one of your Numeron or something of that sort. This one only requires 3. If all your monsters live, but you know you're fighting against something that's either Spell and Trap card heavy or Exceeds heavy, like Purrley or something of that sort, you're going to want to go into Avermax instead. Not being able to be targeted, it's just a good monster to go into, and if they kaiju it or do anything to this, if it's just sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card, not card effect, but just card, you can use the effect to be able to spin 1 back, I believe, or send 1 card. And this is just the other great monster to go into, so it's either going to be one or the other. And that's it for monsters that we actually can summon. It really is just this pile, and again, I'm not playing this anymore. The rest are Ultimate Slayer targets. So let's say they have a Link monster. Your absolute best target is going to be Bucephalus. Bucephalus on send lets you send 1 Winged Beast monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, or Beast Warrior. But what you're always going to be sending with this is going to be your 1 copy of Garura. So Garura, when it's sent to the graveyard, lets you draw 1 card, and that means you Ultimate Slayer got rid of one of the threats and just went evened out. You did not lose a single card in your advantage because you just drew 1. So that's the best bet for that. Another good fusion target send that you can do if you're fighting against Branded or something of that sort is sending your 1 copy of Entis. This means that if you use Ultimate Slayer, they can't respond. You bring back their Mirror Jade, they can't use the effect in response, so it's really nice. Then you also send this. You could use this to pop one of the back row, one of the monsters. It's just now at that point you're just getting a 2-for-1. For Exceeds monsters, we don't really have anything too great. We have the Mirror Logic Agitator. I don't like it too much, but it really is the only best target. When this card's sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, 1 face-up card, negate its effect until the end phase. It's fine. It's the best we have for now, but, you know, I'm going to always keep an eye out for something going to be better afterwards. And before, for Synchro, we still have the Psyframe Lord Omega, but a new target that we got is going to be the Golden Cloud Beast Smolong. This card, when sent to the graveyard, lets you target 1 face-up card, I believe, and bounce it back to the hand. Fantastic. Once again, you're getting a 2-for-1 with Ultimate Slayer, and this is just amazing. So again, this is what my extra deck is. Half of it's going to be Ultimate Slayer targets, and the rest is just monsters I actually go into. I'm taking out the Sky Striker stuff. I didn't like it so much, but it's still nice, so I'm going to have plenty of space to work with after this. And now we can move on to the side deck. Once again, I explained that I have been awake for 20 hours or so. I didn't have time to even write a deck list. I was so busy doing other work that I had to write a deck list on the way there, so I didn't have too much at my disposal. But for the side deck, what I have 2 Lancias. I don't know, Flu, maybe Branded. It didn't really come up. But it was okay. It was fine. You know, I didn't really draw into it, but it seemed okay in some moments, some instances. So 2 of those. Then 2 of an amazing card, being the 1 copy of Mudora and the 1 copy of Keldo. These cards are amazing. I wish we had more of them. Being able to be one of the amazing discard costs for like a Twin Twister Forbidden Droplets and being able to chain a response. You can normal summon it to at least do extra damage if you really want to. It tributes itself or banish itself from the field or graveyard as cost, so they can't imperm this or whatever. You can't be stuck with a monster, so you'll always have an empty board regardless to be able to Numeron Network. So these cards are amazing, and the stats are also really good. This being 16 defense, meaning you can go into this, into Godarla, into Lava Golem, or there's just so much synergy. Even with these cards themselves, they're all small world targets, which make them very viable. So I'm going to put these over here. And for the last monster, I had 1 Ray. Again, the idea was if they knew what I was playing and make me go first, I had sided in some of the Sky Striker cards to give myself more advantage, more like lasting power, but I didn't like it. It never even came up. I never drew Ray, nor did I think I put her. I probably put her in like one time, but it was fine. Hornet Drone, being able to special summon and do the exact same thing with Ray, but at the cost of nothing, and being able to go into engage into Hornet Drone Kagari add Hornet Drone for turn 1. It sounds nice, but again, never came up. And why isn't this a secret rare, Konami? We just reprinted them. What's going on? And lastly, for the adding more to the Sky Striker package, 2 Widowmakers. Widowmaker was actually really nice, regardless of what I think of the rest of the Sky Striker package. It was able to win me that game against the Lyrilusk bird to be able to do damage, so that was really nice. I would probably still just do Infinite Impermanence instead when I take out the Sky Striker package, though. Next up, we have 3 Cosmic Cyclones, secret rare, make sure. This is just in case you're finding like Runic or something of that sort. It's nice to have more back row hate of a different style of removal. I probably put it in when I knew they were playing anti-spell. I probably took out like an Eccentric or maybe some of the Sky Striker stuff like the Engage and put this in because I would probably auto lose to anti-spell or something of that sort. So this was nice. And lastly, the last minute idea I had was I fear D-Barrier, and I've already explained this before, but I sided in 3 cross-out Designators. There's no secret rare, so I'm sad about that. And the 1 copy, because I own 1 copy of the D-Barrier, also the Ultra, so I'm also really sad about that. And again, the 1 game where it came up, I drew both cross-out and the D-Barrier. It helped me live a turn, but if I would have just had another copy in deck, I would be able to activate this. I just would have won round 3, and I'm sad about that. So there's the deck itself. It's fantastic. I love it. I've been playing this deck for so long. If you want to learn more about Numeron stuff, I do have a very long video that I have been in the works of. Right now, the script is like multiple pages long, and there's so much to talk about. I could go on for so long, but right now I believe the video is scheduled to be like 45 minutes long. It's gonna be a good watch. I want to get like high production quality on it, so expect that. If you want to see that, be sure to have subscribed for me on YouTube and Twitter as well, because I'm definitely going to be posting that. And if you want to see and learn more about the power of Numerons, you can go ahead and catch me on my Twitter at twitch.tv/innercrescent. There is where I primarily play Yu-Gi-Oh! Most of the time, and it's almost always Numerons, discovering new builds, and I definitely have a big new idea to play Numerons for the upcoming format. It's going to be fantastic, and I hope everyone follows along to see what that deck is going to be. So thank you everyone for being here and watching this silly video of mine. I'm so happy to get my top, and I'll see everyone next time. And have a wonderful day.